Hi guys. Visual films here.
Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain an American superhero, drama, and fantasy movie, called The New Mutants. Danielle Moonstar, who is usually called Dani, wakes up from her sleep after the chaos around her house caused by the tornado. Soon, her father takes her away from the house and runs into the forest to hide, but before that she still manages to grab something that is in her drawer. There, her father hides her in a tree as he runs back to the village to help the others. A few moments later, she can only fall silent when she stares at her father dying in front of her eyes. Feeling scared, she continues to run deeper into the forest, causing her to fall and eventually falls unconscious. Later, she feels confused when she wakes up in an oddly empty hospital with her hands cuffed. She tries to search for help, but suddenly Dr. Cecilia Reyes comes to her room. It turns out that she is the one who runs the empty hospital. She then comforts Dani so she can open the handcuffs on her hands. Dani also tells the incident that happened to her last night. Because of this, Dr. Reyes gives her back the necklace that she brought before she left the house with her father last night. It means a lot to her because the necklace is the only present from her father that she has until now. Meanwhile, their conversation is monitored by the CCTV in the room. Dr. Reyes also informs Dani that actually she is not an ordinary human being, but rather has unique mutant DNA. Thus, she advises her to remain in this hospital until she learns the effects of her power and how to control them. The next morning, Dr. Reyes gathers with 4 other teenagers who have unique mutant DNA like Dani. There are Samuel Guthrie aka Cannonball, Eliana Rasputin aka Magik, Roberto da Costa aka Sunspot, and Ronnie Sinclair aka Wolfsbane. Dr. Reyes has brought each of them to the hospital because each of them has experienced, or inadvertently caused a horrible tragedy, starting from Sam who accidentally collapsed an entire coal mine where his father and coworkers work, killing them all completely. Roberto unintentionally burned his girlfriend to death using his superpower. Ronnie escaped her devout Catholic village by killing the priest after he branded her as a witch because of her superpower, and Eliana was enslaved and sexually abused as a child by a creature called the Smiling Man. All of them also possess unique superhuman abilities due to mutations in their DNA. Roberto can manipulate solar energy, Sam can fly at jet speed, Eliana has interdimensional sorcery powers, and Ronnie's lycanthropy allows her to turn into a wolf. After a while, Dani approaches them and she is introduced as the new teenager in the hospital. Afterwards, Reyes asks Eliana to take Dani around. As she walks out, Dani tries to escape from the place, but strangely Eliana does not care about her. At the same time, a wolf follows her from behind. Unfortunately, she instead hit a force field surrounding the entire hospital grounds, causing her nose to bleed. It turns out that Dr. Reyes herself is also a powerful mutant who can manipulate plasma energy force fields, preventing the 5 of them from leaving the facility. Eliana then laughs at Dani to make her angry. Because of it, Dani wants to hit her, but Eliana immediately uses her superpower to dodge. Furthermore, she comes back to the building and desperately plans suicide from the church clock tower while the wolf is watching her from below. At the right time, Ronnie comes and prevents her from committing suicide, bringing their relationship closer. Still around the hospital grounds, they meet with Sam who is practicing his superpower. At night, Sam and Robert are chatting in the laundry room while being watched by Dr. Reyes from the control room. In the meantime, Dani is dreaming of the incident when her father was killed, making her psionic energy elevated. Back in the laundry room, Sam is startled by one of the washing machines making a strange sound. Feeling curious, he checks the washing machine as it takes him back to his past where the miners and his father are seen. When he wants to go back, a miner suddenly attempts to hit him using a pickaxe, sending him flying violently from the washing machine. The next morning, Dani takes a bath with Ronnie where she notices a mysterious W-like mark on Ronnie's shoulder. Without any explanation, Ronnie leaves her alone in the bathroom. In the therapy room, the 5 of them practice controlling their superpower guided by Dr. Reyes. Afterwards, Eliana abruptly antagonizes Dani in the dining room, causing them to fight. Therefore, she wants to slash Dani with her sword, but at the right time Dr. Reyes manages to shield Dani using her superpower. Then they are both punished by being locked up in an isolation room. There, Eliana recalls her past about the Smiling Man, while Dani hallucinates seeing her past and a black shadow from the sky that looks like a demon bear. Consequently, Dr. Reyes comes to the room and decides to take Dani's blood sample for further study. The next day, the mutants want to play truth game using the lie detector in the attic, but secretly Dr. Reyes is also watching them via CCTV. As the result, they are reprimanded by her the next day. Later, Ileana manages to make Dr. Reyes falls asleep using drugs. Seizing the opportunity, they party and have fun freely that night. Collectively, the 5 teenagers believe they are being trained to join the X-Men under strict supervision. After that, Roberto approaches Ileana, who is swimming. After he kisses her, he feels heat on his body because he remembers his past when he accidentally killed his girlfriend. His girlfriend's charred form suddenly appears from behind him, causing the alarm to sound, which wakes Dr. Reyes. They all come to the swimming pool and find Roberto's body is already on fire. Dr. Reyes immediately pushes him into the pool so he can return to normal. Roberto then becomes angry and wants to run away from the place after he finds out that Ileana was deliberately bothering him. But according to the CCTV footage, he was in the swimming pool alone, while Ileana was in her isolation room. However, Dr. Reyes realizes what Ileana has done earlier and decides to lock her up again in the isolation room. Soon, Ronnie begins to have horrifying real visions of her past tragedies. Suddenly, she is getting branded on the shoulder by the same priest whom she had previously killed, causing her to turn into a wolf. After that, Ileana deduces that the visions are the result of Danny's powers manifesting themselves, the ability to physically manifest fears, illusions, or other thoughts from a person's mind. Feeling upset, she immediately strangles Danny and takes her to the limbo, but luckily Dr. Reyes is able to inject a sedative into Ileana. The following day, Danny comes to Ileana's room to return her hand puppet of a purple dragon called Lockheed. Turns out the hand puppet fell off while she was being soothed last night. She also says that Limbo is a realm created by her and Lockheed back then. In the control room, Dr. Reyes receives Danny's examination results from her employers, which is the Essex Corporation. She is ordered to collect Danny's DNA and then euthanize her because she is considered the strongest and uncontrollable mutant that can harm them. As Reyes straps her down on a gurney, Danny's panic causes her powers to go haywire. In another room, Ileana and Sam are attacked by physical manifestations of Ileana's childhood abusers, the Smiling Men. Meanwhile, Danny's voice calling for help is heard by Ronnie, making her suspicious and immediately looking for her. Fortunately, Danny still can use her powers to discover Dr. Reyes's true intentions before Ronnie arrives in half-wolf form and mauls Dr. Reyes, forcing her to flee from the room. At the same time, Sam meets with Roberto, who is trying to break through the hospital's outer barrier, which has now contracted in diameter. All of them regroup in Dr. Reyes's office and realize that Dr. Reyes was training them to be assassins for Essex. In order to escape, they must kill her to deprive the force fields of their power source. Using Ronnie's sense of smell, they manage to confront Dr. Reyes, who warns them that Danny is too powerful and will destroy them all. She then restricts them all with force fields. When she tries to kill Danny again by asphyxiating her with a force field, the demon bear, which is Danny's own greatest fears manifested through her power, suddenly appears and devours Dr. Reyes, making Danny renders unconscious. Ileana then uses her superpowers to travel to Limbo, where she retrieves a glowing sword, armor, and a tiny physical manifestation of Lockheed to battle Demon Bear, while Ronnie tries to reach through to Danny's subconscious and urges her to wake up. Eventually, Sam and Roberto also join the fight, as well as Ronnie, but all to no avail. In the meantime, Danny is visited by her father's spirit, who encourages her to face her greatest fear. Because of it, she awakens and confronts the Demon Bear, calming it down and thus dissipating it. In the end, the group finds out that the force field surrounding the entire facility has disappeared. They decide to leave the place and look for the nearest town. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.